How's it going, everyone? It is Online here. Welcome back to another video. We are now just a week into the launch of the PlayStation 5, and if you're also in places like Europe, you just got the console yesterday. Having a week's time on my hands with this new console, I figured I'd do a 1-week review to tell you where I'm at, what I'm feeling on this console, and overall my experience so far. So without further ado, I think I want to start with the games because this is the one where I have probably the most to say. It's kind of crazy right now, just the sheer amount of new games to play. And that's awesome. Yeah, Demon's Souls, Miles, Spider-Man Remastered if you got the Ultimate Edition, the Pathless, Bugsnax, Call of Duty, even Assassin's Creed, and then you got the fact that, the PS Plus collection includes some of the best games on the PS4 for free if you're a member, as well as just, backwards compatibility. It's honestly great that the amount of content you have from day one is as good as it is right now, and just knowing we have games like Ratchet and Clank and Horizon and, hopefully God of War next year, it's just going to be a great time and a great first year. Overall, I think in terms of the launch lineup, in terms of what I've been playing, Demon's Souls has impressed me the most. I played on PS3 these past few months getting ready for the remake, and just seeing this world brought back to life. Boletaria has never been so good. You feel closer to the world with the DualSense controller, and Bluepoint's just really talented. All these locations, they look a little bit different than they were in the remake. It's a bit more beautiful, but man, it's the one game where if you want to see what the PS5 can do, Demon's Souls is the game to play, and I just can't wait to play more of it. If you're into the Souls game, and really if you're not, I'd definitely recommend it. I'm going to be doing a full review here coming soon, so look out for that. Spider-Man Miles Morales also has impressed me quite a bit. It's just a great game. I do think it might be slightly overpriced, but Miles Morales is a great experience. I don't want to go too in-depth on my, thoughts on these individual games, but it's another strong game for a launch lineup. I think even if you took out Demon's Souls, this launch would be so good because of Miles Morales as well. Such a good Miles Morales story. Again, I'm also going to be doing a review here coming soon on the channel, so look out for that as well. And then obviously we have games like Sackboy, which I haven't played the most yet because I am planning on going through that whole entire game in co-op, as well as Astro's Playroom. I guess both of those games kind of bring in the platformer genre to the new console. I feel like I've talked a bit too much about Astro's Playroom, but I'll save it for you here. I'll just mention that, yeah, obviously it is the showcase title for the DualSense controller. It uses haptics really well. It uses, the new triggers if you want to be sold on the new console, and the DualSense more importantly. Astro's Playroom just has so many good examples of what this controller can kind of convey to you. And ultimately, it's just kind of, the game to play to sell you on it. They did it first, with PSVR and Astrobot Rescue Mission. They did it again here with Astro's Playroom. Even if you're not into the new, controller's features, there's at least a lot of cool PlayStation Easter eggs that are worth going in, for that alone. Let's talk about the hardware, because this is, another big component to the, obviously, launch of this new console here. It's huge. Yeah, you saw my unboxing video. This thing was crazy big. It's like built up much of my torso. It's crazy. Yeah, I think this is honestly the first console where it's a little too big. Like, I say a little too big. It is too big. I definitely think that if they come out with the slim model for the PS5, how they did with the PS4 and the PS3, I think I might intentionally upgrade just for that smaller size factor. Like, it fits fine right now, but it is crazy big. Like, it's a big noticeable step up from the PS4. We've kind of known this all along going into launch, but just having it in your living room for like day-to-day basis, it's just kind of hits harder than it ever has before. Yeah, overall I do like how it's cool though. That's definitely the trade-off with its big size, is just how cool this system is, and it's been a great experience being able to play games without a loud jet engine. That's something that I've been, kind of used to for the last few years now, so it's kind of awesome to finally be able to play these games without a loud-ass fan going off in the background. And yeah, besides that, the stand, that's probably my biggest nitpick, I guess I could say, on the console. It's not even really a nitpick. Obviously, if you want to put this console either vertically or horizontally, both sides need you to use a stand. And the horizontal stand, it's so easy to move off. Like, it's absolutely abysmal, this stand. Like, I was readjusting the HDMI ports off of my console, and I think I got the console off of its stand like 3 or 4 times just simply by moving it slightly. It's crazy how easily that thing comes off and how much it wants to come off. It's just kind of crazy. It is also annoying that, horizontally forever I've been just putting consoles horizontally as they are. This is like the first console where like intentionally I need to use a stand even for its horizontal position. Obviously that's kind of understandable given like the design of the console. You wouldn't want it without a stand, but yeah, it's just kind of crazy. Like, the whole setup process could have been a lot easier. I definitely am looking forward to seeing what a slim model could look like in the future, because I definitely do like the PS5's design. Like, I think it's beautiful, but it's at the same time really inconvenient. I've talked about the DualSense quite a bit in the past. The form factor is great. It has that heftiness that the Xbox controllers have, but it's not as heavy for me. I've gone back to the PS4 about like 1 or 2 times this week, and it feels very cheap and like a toy. It's kind of crazy because that's what I immediately said for the DualShock 3 when playing the DualShock 4. It's easily PlayStation's best controller, even taking out all of the technology inside. If you're just looking on form factor, this is their best controller, hands down. Yeah, I've talked about, the technology inside. The haptic feedback is no joke. It's great. I definitely think if you're looking for a game that utilizes it really well, I think Demon's Souls uses it the best besides Astro's Playroom. Adaptive triggers are also really impressive. Games like Call of Duty and Fortnite, with guns and all that, you can actually feel the difference between the different guns that you're using. It's pretty impressive, especially with Call of Duty. I think they fine-tuned it for every single weapon in the game. It changes the experience pretty drastically, although I recommend turning it off on multiplayer because obviously it does give you like a disadvantage there. I will say I am kind of disappointed in terms of the features of the DualSense coming from Miles Morales. I definitely think it could have been used a bit more. Swinging does feel satisfied. I will say that, like, the adaptive triggers do actually feel good while swinging. They don't feel too intrusive, but at the same time, you can definitely feel the tension. I think they struck the right balance there. But that's pretty much the only action in the game that really uses the DualSense outside of combat. When you're walking on buildings or running against walls, you don't really get that much feedback, and it's kind of noticeable whenever I jump from Miles to, like, Astro's Playroom, just how much more effort went onto the DualSense there. So it is a little bit disappointing. There are still some cool interactions with the DualSense to be found in Miles, like the opening train introduction, as well as whenever you come like across a laptop in the game and Miles uses his fingers, you can actually feel like the individual button presses. So that is really cool there, but would have loved to see a bit more implementation overall in the game. Mark Cerny's been talking a big game about the PS5's SSD for the last year or so now, and did it live up? Yeah, it's kind of crazy. Every single native PS5 game, Astro's Playroom, Sackboy Big Adventure, Demon's Souls, and Miles Morales all boot up within like 10 to 15 seconds. I recorded my time and I literally clicked on the Demon's Souls tile and I was in the Nexus moving around as my character within like 19 seconds. That's kind of crazy. You consider the fact that it takes like 5 seconds to teleport from an Archstone in the Nexus to that actual world. Going from the PS5 OS main menu and into a certain world that you want to explore in Demon's Souls within a matter of 30 seconds or so. Miles, I think, probably has the quickest time out of all of them, especially considering that game's world. That one continues to impress me even when I go back and go for the Platinum right now. It still kind of amazes me how fast that game boots up. And these are launch titles. Like, the game developers are going to learn the system as they develop for it. So seeing games like these so impressive right now, it only, leads me to be super excited to see where this SSD takes, game development in the future here. Now with this big Pro, there is a big, caveat here, the storage size. Yeah, considering the tech and how SSD works and how expensive they are, especially considering this is a custom one, 825 gigabytes is what we're left with at the end of the day. And when you take out the OS, which every system needs to reserve some space for the OS, we're left with a small 660 gigabyte size. Now, for a lot of people, this is going to depend on the games you're downloading, but if you're anything like me and you have at least like 6 or 7 games on at a time, you're already hitting that cap. Like, I'm already hitting the cap, and I think I have like 8 or 9 games downloaded, and 2 or so of those games are pretty small, like 6 or 11 gigabyte games, I'm desperately waiting for Sony to kind of give, the update so I can install a internal SSD for, expansion there. Luckily, given the PS5 card bay, it's not going to be proprietary. There's going to be, a lot of manufacturers out there making these SSDs. So prices will naturally decrease due to competition, so that's nice. Let's talk about the OS. This is definitely, a big part of the console experience, considering it's going to be what we're seeing for the next 7 or so years. Obviously, with updates, this can change, so it's best to give our feedback now. Overall, I really like the UI a lot. I think it's a great element of the PS3's XMB in terms of its dark, clean vibe, but at the same time it brings the simplicity of the PS4's tile system. The tiles now are a lot smaller. In return, we get a lot more focus on the game's artwork in the background, which I really like as well. Cards are now to be found below each tile, which I have used a bit in the past. It depends on the game's implementation. I think Astro's Playroom might be the strongest one, but there are some other good examples, like Call of Duty has the different game modes in the background, so if you want to jump straight into zombies, for instance, or team deathmatch, you can just find the activity card on the very bottom, and you're good to go. It's honestly a great UI, and I'm someone that remembers the PS4 days really clearly and how that UI was very bare bones and kind of annoying to deal with. Yeah, obviously Sony changed it over time and it's become, such a good UI. Rather it is a bit slow nowadays. It is still such a good UI in my opinion. The PS5, obviously with the SSD, it's really fast. It's snappy, and at the same time it has the feature sets that we're looking for. Granted, it needs a few improvements that I'll list here. Yeah. the game bar needs to be removed and replaced. I definitely think the game bar is such a weird name. I have been, party chatting with friends and it's been a bit easy, but I need to have a simple way to check my friends list is what I'm trying to say here. You go to the game bar and it's all the people that you talked to recently, but in terms of finding friends, it's kind of annoying. I think they just need to remove the game bar and just go back to friends list and parties and how it was before. I think PlayStation did address this because people have been complaining about that, so I'm hoping to see that in an update, hopefully sometime early next year. I've also found it a little weird that PSN actually captured downloads now to one game. This isn't a problem anymore as I'm a week in, but I remember that first day downloading all those games and it taking forever because of just the fact that PSN was capping games at, a download and just that. That being said though, I feel like PSN has gotten a bit faster. It's still definitely slow and nothing compared to the speeds you get on like PC with Steam downloads and all that, but I have noticed a bit of improvement, especially when I'm downloading games in rest mode. Yeah, besides that, I definitely like how everything is just snappy. I think that can't be overstated. It's just how fast the system is and how snappy it is to get it everywhere you want. I love how the PSN store is baked in. I love how PlayStation Plus has its own tile now, so whenever you want to get the monthly downloadable games, now you just need to go into the certain part of the console instead of finding it in the store and digging through there, so that's awesome. Overall, I'm very impressed with the PS5 and my time with it so far. It's a great console. I clearly remember the PS4's first initial year, and this first year for the console is looking really promising. Even just taking all the day one games we have right now, there's a lot to play that I don't think anyone could really be disappointed, especially considering the variety of this launch lineup. So that comes down to the question, should you buy one? Yeah, for those wondering or still on the fence, the low amount of exclusives for any console at launch obviously kind of make this question, easily fall into the category of waiting. But I think with the fact that you get better experiences here with like Miles being 60 FPS as well as getting ray tracing, and I think every game I've played right now has kind of been 60 FPS, which is a trend I hope to see going forward. Yeah, these games are getting upgrades that are on PS4 for sure, but are better to be played on the PS5, especially when you consider things like the DualSense controller and everything that changes the experience there. I also think the introduction of the backwards compatibility feature, allowing you to play pretty much your whole lineup of PS4 games day one, kind of makes this so it's an easy no-brainer. Obviously, everyone's financial status is going to be different from everyone else, but I definitely think the PS5 has been the first console I've played where I feel like it might be worth it at launch. I loved my time with the Switch, but I couldn't recommend it because it only had really Breath of the Wild there at launch. They changed that with that first year, and that's exactly how I see the PS5 going, and I'm looking forward to it. Yeah, that has been my thoughts on the PlayStation 5. I'm loving my time so far with it. On a day-to-day basis, it's been snappy. I've been playing great games. The DualSense has lived up to, everything they promised. The system isn't perfect. There definitely are some kinks there that I'm looking forward to hopefully getting addressed here soon, but I'm having a lot of fun with it, and I'm looking forward to seeing just the amount of games we get, going here in the next year. Yeah, I guess that leads the conversation to you. For those of you that just recently picked up a PS5, what are your first day impressions? For those that picked it up last week, how are you feeling compared to me? And yeah, with that being said, I look forward to seeing you in the next video. It will probably be my Miles Morales review, so look forward to that as always. I've been Online or Brandon. Make sure to enjoy the rest of your day. And until next time, take care.